So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 28th, 2021 regular meeting of the Town of Easton Planning and Zoning Board. In keeping with an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law by Governor Baker on June 16th, 2021, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count toward quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. To use Zoom, you can follow the link on the agenda posted on the town's website. While board members and commissioners and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as attendee, meaning they are muted with no public feed from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raise hand function or make a request through the Q&A function, both on Zoom. If you're joining by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. Board members are asked to announce themselves when making a motion and second, so that it'll be clear to audience and minute takers who made the motion. All votes will be by roll call. There are further instructions and guidance posted on the agenda, which is on the front page calendar of the town's website. So, to get us started, to ensure we have a quorum, we will do an audio roll call. Gregory Strange here.
Peter Deschain here.
Robert Stetson here.
Chris Anderson here.
Amos Kadam here.
And that's right, Deb's not with us tonight. So with Deb not here, Amos will be acting as a full member. So let's see. I know you've heard this before. So our first two public hearings are continued. First is 58 Mill Street, Owl Ridge Estates. Request to continue to our next meeting. Stephanie, I guess I don't see a date on here. So our next meeting is July 12th.
Yes. Suzanne, that's correct, right? July 12th?
They continue to July 26th.
Oh, the 26th.
Okay. Suzanne, both of them? Did Sawmill go to the 26th?
No, the Sawmill continued. They did not give a date, and I didn't have a chance to get back to Rick Lincoln.
All right, well, so we'll move that. We'll just go to the next one. So, okay. So anyway, so if you guys can make a motion for 58 Mill to July 26th.
Motion to continue, Amos Kadam. Motion to continue 58 Mill Street definitive subdivision plan and special permit to July 9th.
26th.
Huh?
26th.
26th.
Is that a
Stetson second.
I heard Bob. All right. Any further discussion, hearing and seeing none? All those in favor, Strange eye.
And I.
Stetson aye.
Aye.
All right. Amos, did you vote? I didn't hear you.
Yes, I did.
Did he? Okay, great. All right, next up will be Sawmill Village, 560 Foundry Street, continuing to July 12th.
Motion to continue 560 Foundry Street, definitive subdivision and special permit to July.
Chris, you got muted halfway through the motion.
Yeah, we lost your audio there, Chris, if you can hear us.
Yeah, you're muted.
There we go.
Can you redo it, Chris?
Village till July 12th.
Stetson second.
Suzanne, were you able to hear the motion clearly?
Yes.
Okay, it cut on me. All right, and Bob seconded. Okay, all those in favor, Strange eye.
Deschain, aye.
Stetson aye.
Kadam aye.
All right, great. Next up, we have Lullaby Lane, modification of a definitive site plan. Looks like we may have a few members of the public for this, Stephanie.
I think so, yes. And Frank and Mohammed, if you would unmute yourselves.
Okay. All right. I think I successfully did that.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
we can see
good.
you. All right. Well, who's ever presenting, if you could just state your name and address for the record.
All right. It's Frank Gallagher. It's Gallagher Engineering in Foxborough. I'm the engineer. Mohammed Atani is the applicant. What we have is Tanglewood Estates. This is actually Tanglewood Estates 2, which is the section of the subdivision that was approved as an OSRD. And what we're presenting is a plan to slightly modify Lullaby Lane. The entire subdivision really is constructed at this point. Lullaby Lane is the last bit of roadway that hasn't yet been completed. The houses, I think, just have recently been completed on that street. So given that, Mohammed decided that he'd like to finalize that roadway. All the rest of it is completed and I believe approved by the town as public ways. So Lullaby Lane is about a 600-foot long cul-de-sac at the very end of the project. What we're asking for is a little bit of a change from what was originally approved. And that was done just about 20 years ago, I guess, the approval. And it was approved as a 22-foot wide roadway with sidewalk on both sides and a cul-de-sac at the end. And what we are asking for is that the cul-de-sac remain, at least geometrically, as it was approved, but we're asking to put a landscaped island in the middle of the cul-de-sac. It was approved as just a completely paved cul-de-sac. But we're asking to put a 22-foot radius island in the middle with plantings. And we're also asking that some of the sidewalk not be constructed. If you look at the plan, the lower portion, or I guess the west side of the road, we're showing sidewalk. It was approved for the sidewalk to be on both sides of the road and all the way around the cul-de-sac. We're asking that it just be ended just before you enter into the cul-de-sac.
Can everyone see the plan? Or am I sharing something else on the screen right now?
Yes, we can see
You can
it.
see the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, this plan is what we have put forth as a proposed condition.
Hey, could you throw up, excuse me for just for a minute, Frank. Stephanie, if you could throw up the approved plan, which I know you sent us.
Original one, hold on.
2001, which shows the sidewalks around the entire road. Thanks. Sorry, Frank, go ahead.
No. So this is our request. Yeah, you can see on this plan, the sidewalk went around the entire length of both sides of the road and all the way around the cul-de-sac.
Right, consistent with the rest of the subdivision, correct?
Well, no, if you look, even if you just look at the intersection, you'll see that on the north edge of that intersecting road, there is no sidewalk. So it's only on one side of the road, as you know, in that circular area that.
Right, but it is on
leads up to
Symphony and
Lullaby.
Harmony and Tanglewood and Serenade Park. I'll have it on both
Yeah,
sides.
yeah.
Right.
So anyway, what we're asking for is that it be ended basically between lot 25 and lot 26 on the plan we're looking at. And all of this request is being made actually on behalf of the homeowners in this, that are on Lullaby Lane. This is actually what we're putting in front of you is what they would prefer to have be the case here. They would like the landscaped island, which is, something that's being done in addition, that goes essentially beyond what was approved originally, but they would like to have that done. And the sidewalk, they asked basically to have it end as we've shown it on this proposed plan. So that's what's driving this. It's a request by the homeowners in this subdivision. And really the reason that we're here now is we've submitted it all as a minor modification to the subdivision. We're asking the board, I guess, tonight to just make a determination on whether it is in fact a minor modification or whether the board sees it as, something more than that. So that's, I guess that's it as far
Okay,
as
thank you.
presentation.
Stephanie, I'll let you start since you reviewed this.
Okay, so Greg, as you mentioned, I did a site visit out there and walked around. It happened to be last week, one of the sunny days, school's out. There were kids that had a lemonade stand going on one of the sidewalks at one of the intersections. There were folks walking dogs and just general, not a lot of activity for that time of day. It was pretty warm out, but there were folks out and about. So the original proposal or plan did not have the island at Lullaby Lane. But as I showed in the pictures in my report, which I can bring up, the other cul-de-sacs, there were two other cul-de-sacs. If you look at Tanglewood 1 and Tanglewood 2 as an entire complex, because they are connected. There are two cul-de-sacs and they both have the islands and they both have the sidewalks. And the sidewalk does extend around. So I think the board could consider that. My question that I raise is who is maintaining these, because they are well maintained. They look like they have some healthy plant material. I'll bring this up if you can see those. This is the cul-de-sac at Symphony Drive, and this is the one at Tanglewood Drive. So I don't think the DPW is maintaining these, but I don't know for a fact. And then my other comment is, so you can see that lawns have been extended onto where the sidewalks should go. In this area here, this is loam in both these areas here. You can see right here, this is a grassed area. The binder course along Lullaby Lane is in very poor condition and needs to be removed and reinstalled before the top wearing course goes down. And I think that was the majority of my comments.
Okay, thank you. So I'll start just quickly, and this kind of ties in. It's interesting. This ties into something we were talking about a meeting or two ago. The inappropriate extended time that binder is exposed to the elements. This was approved. This project was approved. This phase of the project was approved in November 2001, I believe, 20 years ago. I know I checked the records of the building department. There's been at least 2 houses have been built since 2018, if I recall. And I couldn't see in your report, I couldn't see in some of the info, I guess, but I heard you say that it is going to be a public road. They look to have it
Yes.
accepted. So my concern was, yeah, the binder's, in really bad shape. And then in the package that you sent, and I'm sure the other board members saw it, there was a page, a narrative that was.
Yes, I have it up right now. I think.
Uh.
Is that it?
Yeah, and it talks about, so this was a narrative provided by the applicant at the time of looking to have this board in some version 20 years ago approve the special permit, and it talked about the sidewalk. So I guess I'm kind of, I think we need to fix something that a road cannot be, it's still unfinished 20 years later, but that's a discussion for another time. But I'm just concerned that we're not, that now we're not going to put in the sidewalks that were approved, that are throughout throughout the subdivision. And so that, anyway, so that's my concern. I'll open it up for any other board members that wish to comment or ask questions.
Mr. Chair, the question I have is, we make decisions, we approve certain things based on plans, they are not executed because, and we don't have any follow-up on that. Is that what is happening here, and is there any way we can address that issue?
I don't understand your question. I'm sorry, but I mean, this was approved. The sidewalk around the entire perimeter was part of the approved plan. So, is that your question? So we can enforce that. Yeah, I mean, it's required per their approved plans. So it's not the request is, as I understand, they're looking to eliminate the sidewalks and put in that landscaped island.
That's correct. That is correct. That's our request.
So the question is, are you going to complete the sidewalk and fix it? Is that part of the?
Well, right now, the sidewalk actually isn't constructed. It just recently, the granite curb was installed, but the sidewalk had yet to be constructed. Now, Mohammed Itani, the applicant and the developer, had expected to complete all that work in accordance with the approved plans. He was ready to do that and moving to complete everything. But the homeowners in the area actually approached him and said that they would prefer to have their lawns extend rather than have the sidewalks. So that's the reason that we're presenting this. Really, it's on behalf of the homeowners in the area.
Have all 7 or 8 homeowners that are missing a sidewalk, have they signed something, or are they all going to talk to us right now and explain the reasoning?
I'm not sure. Mohammed, maybe you know.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Name and address for the record, please.
I'm Mohammed Itani. I'm with Stonebridge Homes. We're at 32 Norfolk Ave, Southeast. And actually, we were getting ready to put the sidewalks and the road in, and we were approached by the neighbors that they would like us to change that and put the island similar to the rest of the neighborhood in phase 1. The 2 streets that are existing with islands, Symphony Drive as well as Tanglewood Drive, those were under phase 1 approval, and those have sidewalks on both sides. All of Tanglewood 2 has only sidewalk on one side. So Concerto Court as well as what's the other street? And Serenade Park, they only have sidewalk on one side only. And that was the approval for Tanglewood 2. And that's why Tanglewood 1, the two cul-de-sacs have the two islands, but Tanglewood 2 does not have an island. It was a separate approval.
So Mohammed, if I could just interrupt you for a second. So then why does the approved plan from 20 years ago for Lullaby Lane show two sidewalks?
I don't know why we drew it that way.
Yeah, 20 years will do that, right?
It does, it does.
And I could see if we were looking to maybe asking to eliminate the sidewalk on one side, but to not extend the sidewalk for at least the full length of the road isn't keeping with the narrative under which this project was approved, and isn't keeping with the rules and regulations of this board as desired by the residents of this town. So it's safety concerns to me.
Mr. Chairman, we really don't have any issue with that. And we were approached by the neighbors, and all 9 people that live on Lullaby Lane signed a petition to the board to ask them to waive that. We had every intention to put the sidewalk around to finish the roadway. And so we had no intention not to do it until we got approached by the neighbors. And they wanted the island, and they said, okay, in return for you not doing the sidewalk, we would rather see an island. I'm happy to finish it the way it was approved. I don't have any issue with that myself. And it really doesn't change anything for me. So it's up to, obviously it's the board's decision, and whichever way you guys go, I'm happy with it. And I told the neighbors that I will try, but I can't promise them anything. It's up to the board. And I'm assuming, I mean, they were supposedly all of them were going to join the meeting. Maybe they saw the agenda and they expected us to come in like half an hour later or 1 hour later. I'm surprised nobody has joined yet.
Well, I see there's 3 hands raised, so but we're going to go through the board first, and then we'll open it up to the public.
Okay.
So board members, any questions or comments?
This may be a question for Stephanie. What actually is the standard for a minor modification?
I think that it really is up to the board. I think it's one where there's not a significant change. For example, they're not reconfiguring the lots or completely changing the layout of a road. This could rise to a minor modification, but because it doesn't significantly change the overall layout of the subdivision. They're not increasing the number of lots.
I can add to that, Mr. Chairman, is under 40B, and I know it's a different animal. What's considered a minor modification is to increase the number of lots by 10%. And actually Mass Housing puts that as a condition. It says as an example of a minor modification. They say, so we're not adding any lots, we're not doing anything, everything stays exactly the same, the road layout stays the same. The only thing is that we're going to be adding the island in lieu of not doing the sidewalk. And I want to emphasize, I'm doing this on the request and the behalf of the homeowners, and I really have no issue doing it either way.
I noticed I went on Google Earth, Mohammed, and when I took the street view, it seemed like there were 4 or 5 lots towards the cul-de-sac that hadn't been built on yet. So roughly when were the last houses completed?
Probably a month ago or a month and a half ago.
Okay, but over the time period, it looks like there's 5 or 6 that were built in like last 3 or 4 years, I guess. I'm guessing.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
We were waiting to finish the streets until we have those houses built, because constructing houses with septic systems and stuff creates a lot of damage to the road. So we decided to wait until that time. And the road is bonded by the town, so the town has a bond for the completion of the road.
Mm-hmm. Bob, did you have any more questions?
I'll do a little research on my own. I'm not satisfied by the answer. I'm sure that it's probably accurate, but I'd like to see whatever our standard is somewhere. So I'm looking at the rules and regulations now, and I'll
Okay.
listen while I'm looking.
Sure.
But thank you.
Any other board members before I open to the public? Okay, so looking at the chat at first, let's see, you can see the plan, sidewalks. I believe the Landscaper Highway Association, 4 houses built since 2018. Sidewalk does extend the whole way on one side of the road. It only stops, right, but that I would consider the cul-de-sac part of the road. So on the plan, it doesn't show the sidewalk going around the cul-de-sac. So it doesn't extend the entire side of the road. All right, so Stephanie, the Q&As, do you want to handle that?
Okay, the Q&As.
There's really no questions though, are
and
there?
those have been answered. People are raising their hands. We have Brant McGettrick has his hand raised, so we'll allow him to talk.
All right, so can everybody see me?
We can hear you.
Perfect. All right, all good. So I guess the only comment I know.
If you could just, I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but if you could just name and address for the record, please.
12 Lullaby Lane. Brant McGettrick. So I know there's other neighbors of mine that want to speak as well. I figured I just had a couple of quick points of clarification. I guess either way we go, I wanted to hear when the actual road would be scheduled to be completed. Is my main concern. I'm kind of on. I mean, I want to support the rest of my neighborhood, and I think the consensus is that we want this minor modification made. So I'm in support of that. But my main concern is that we get this road paved ASAP.
Okay.
Okay,
thank you.
and Mary Price had her hand raised.
Can I answer that, Mr. Chairman? This is Mohammed.
Oh, sure. Yep. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Actually, the road was scheduled to be paved like 2 weeks ago. And that's why we installed the granite curbing in preparation of paving the road. And that's when we were approached by the neighbors again. They've been asking me not to put sidewalks for quite a while, but we started doing the road work. And we told them we're gonna have to do the sidewalk. They said, how about if we go in front of the board and ask them if they can waive that? Which I said, okay, I will wait. If it wasn't for that, the roads would have been paved by now. And if the board decides one way or the other, it'll be done in the next 2 weeks. So that it is on schedule to, to be done.
So just while you're on that, so in terms of that, so Stephanie, has there, prior to them paving, or Mohammed, what is the game plan for the binder? I heard Stephanie say she wants the binder to all come up. Is that what you're going to be doing? Or my concern is, because there is the binders in tough shape out there. If you just pave a top coat over it, then we're going to be.
So the plan is to look at the areas that have deteriorated, jackhammer them out, take them out, and then put a binder and a leveling course, and then a binder in the areas that we take out, and then a leveling course across the whole street, and then put the top on top of that. So it'll be a two process pavement.
So this is a question then, I guess, for the process for Stephanie and for Mohammed. What's the process? I mean, is there a process in place that someone from the town goes out and agrees with what is being taken up?
Well, the town, again, the town would need to be notified before the top course was going down so that we could arrange for a street inspection. And I can tell you, Mohammed, looking at the condition of the binder course right now, I don't think it's going to be sufficient to jackhammer out just sections of it. It is in very rough shape, and the town will not accept a road. You know, we won't get concurrence from DPW to accept the road if the binder course isn't in good shape and there's assurance that once you put the wearing course down, the road will be in good condition for a reasonable period of time before needing repairs.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was discussed and the appropriate parties were alerted. So nothing fell through the cracks there, no pun intended. Do we have someone else from the audience? Sounds like a game show host saying that.
Let's see, we have Mary Price had her hand raised, and
Can you hear me?
if you're Mary.
I'm here with Mary. I'm her husband. I'm Gary Price, 23 Lullaby. We're at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm hearing a lot of positive things for the road. It's been a long time for us. We've been here almost 10 years. So this is great news. As far as the cul-de-sac goes, we would love to see an island in there. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at this on Google Earth or live, but it presents a real issue when they try to plow the road, not having anything in the middle. They wind up typically pushing it up on different lawns and causing rework in the springtime for the different homeowners. So having the island in the middle of the cul-de-sac would just allow the trucks to continue around like a roundabout, as opposed to trying to plow it all into one direction. In there, sure. It gives it some structure.
Sure, I understand that. With
respect to the sidewalks, we really would prefer not to have them at the end of the cul-de-sac. When they came out and dug into the road, they widened the road a lot more than what we thought we had for a front lawn, and it's getting to the point where my walk may become the sidewalk on that. And there are a lot of conflicts as far as fire plugs, telephone poles, lighting poles. I'm not sure how they would do that, if they would put a swale around it if it was a sidewalk.
Well, I certainly can understand that. And that's the problem with roads taking 20 years to build, because little conflicts like this can come up. But,
yeah,
you know, unfortunately, you know, the planning board, we have a responsibility to the town from safety. And I certainly understand what you're saying, but, you know, there may be other residents that live in these houses at some point. You know, and just looking, I'm on Google Earth right now and looking, every cul-de-sac in this place has, it has islands. It also has the sidewalks going all the way around. Now, I would be open to maybe doing the sidewalk on one side of the road and handling, you know, half of the cul-de-sac, but I'm concerned with a precedent of, you know, and the town has to accept this road. This isn't going to be a private road, so it needs to meet our standards. So I'm not comfortable personally getting rid of the sidewalks. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but that's, you know, if we wanted to, like I said, I'd be open to maybe reducing them and not having them on both sides. But I think we have to look back, even though this has been a really long process and none of us were on this board when this was approved.
Right.
A significant portion of the narrative, you know, talks about this. And
well, if we're trying to comply with the other roads or the other cul-de-sacs, should there be both sidewalks and the island?
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm not opposed to the island. I mean, I agree with what you're saying with the island. Well, I don't know why there is an island there is everywhere else. So go ahead.
I look at Google Map and all this neighborhood all around, close to this, not this phase, has sidewalks on the one side, all around. So if you do sidewalks on both sides, it will be different from the rest of the neighborhood. Granted,
well, no, you're wrong. Symphony Drive has sidewalks on both sides. I'm looking right at it. I mean, and again, I'm not just, Tanglewood has sidewalks on both sides. You know.
no, this phase, this immediate neighborhood.
Phase 1 has sidewalks on both sides.
Right.
Phase
But-
2 only has on one side.
Right. So just so we can move this along, I'm not saying we have to have it on both sides. I would support having it on one side, but I wouldn't support getting rid of the sidewalk.
We're not
So-
asking to get rid of the sidewalk. We're only getting rid of it on one side, not the other side.
Yeah, but you didn't go all the way, it needs to go all the way to the cul-de-sac. It has to serve every house, or at least be across from every house. Otherwise, it's not in keeping with our standards. And again, if the rest of the board tells me otherwise, that's fine. But, you know, that's where I'm at.
I think there are three more attendees that would like to have their hand raised.
Mr. Chair, are you ready for the next?
Oh, go ahead. Sure. I thought you got them all.
And Mr. Davis or Ms. Davis, could you unmute yourself?
Hello, yes, I'm Joel Davis. I'm in at 11 Lullaby, lot 27, and I can't remember the lot number next to me. My impression when I first built here was that mine and the next lot was going to be the sidewalk, and then it would terminate at the next lot beyond me. That's what my understanding was from the time I got here, and I'm perfectly copacetic with that. I do appreciate the island, and I appreciate all the other comments that you guys have talked about as well, and about the condition of the road and the ability to get it to a really good road, acceptable road. But I just wanted to make the point that that I understood that we would have the one side of the cul-de-sac.
But just for the record, so you understand, the approved plan from November 2001 has sidewalk on both sides of the road and the entire circumference of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I didn't see the approved plan from the
Sure,
city.
no, I understand. I just did want to, so that's our base point. That's where we're coming
I
from.
do. And I was just to let you know from a homeowner's point of view is I understood that mine and the house next door to mine
Sure.
was going to be where that was going to terminate. So I'm perfectly copacetic with it terminating at the next door lot. You know, I'm happy that I have the sidewalk in front of mine, but I understand also my neighbors with where they're at.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, I was trying to, there we go. Mr. Tom?
Hi, this is Henry Tom, 20 Lullaby Lane. I just want to say that I'm in agreement with the rest of the people in the neighborhood. Elimination of the sidewalk on one side plus the island. I personally have seen snow plowing problems in the area, as well as people that drive into the neighborhood seeing a wide open space in winter doing donuts. As a father of a child, I have concerns my son could be out there at times, and I think an island would actually prevent kids from playing in the center. It is about 54 feet wide, if I believe that's correct, and it's quite dangerous, and it's kind of an eyesore, maybe unless you have a UFO that wants to land there or something, but it's just too big. It's an open space, and it's not doing anything. So that would be my concern. But in general, I support this this request to remove the sidewalks and to add the island.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and we have Victoria.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so this is Victoria Creighton. I'm on the Board of Trustees, and we mentioned this in our annual meeting that we had last week. And it seemed like just general feedback about the plan of putting an island in the back there at Lullaby seemed to be well received, and it was understood that any additional maintenance of that island would fall under us to maintain. So there was no comment or concern about that. So I just wanted to comment that aesthetically, I do support putting an island back there along with the sidewalk on one side.
Great, thank you very much.
I do have one comment though.
Okay.
Is there any way that there could be some sort of irrigation added to that island? No, okay.
Oh, no, I didn't say no.
Oh, it looked like you were nodding your head. Is that a question?
Oh, no, that's Zoom. My dog's misbehaving. Well, the town certainly wouldn't do it. And I don't, Stephanie or Mohammed?
Oh, the town, I mean, the road becomes, will be, once it's accepted by the town, it becomes the town's property, and the town will not accept responsibility for paying for irrigation for the island.
Okay.
And the island should be planted with material that is extreme condition tolerant, so drought resistant as well as inundation resistant.
Okay.
So that's brings up a good point, Stephanie. So there's a homeowners association. What happens once this road, I mean, or Victoria, does your association handle the other two islands now?
Well, not the one on Symphony, just the one on Tanglewood. We're a part of HOA too.
Okay, oh, so there's multiple, okay.
Right.
And Mohammed, have those other streets been accepted?
They have. The only street that has not been accepted is Lullaby Lane.
Right, okay, so there's no issue, Stephanie, if
Well,
we do approve an island?
I don't think anyone in the town, DPW doesn't have a problem if they maintain it. It's that there's nothing in the homeowners association, as far as I could find, that mandates that the homeowners association takes care of the islands. So if at some point in the future they stop taking care of it, the town will only take care of it to the extent that they're capable of doing that.
So if we were to amend our decision and include the island, we could put something in there, right? Or could we not?
That's what I'm thinking, that
yeah,
the board could have a condition.
Sure. Okay. A couple more hands raised, I guess.
I think I saw a comment that someone was asking about light posts. Were there light posts on the original plan?
Hold on a moment.
I'm not sure who the question is for. This is Mohammed.
Yeah,
I'm
Frank or Stephanie?
Yes, I'm sharing the screen. There is, I believe this is a light. Oh no, that's a hydrant.
Stephanie, we don't see the screen if you're sharing it.
Sorry. There we go. You see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry about that. So I don't see any, hold on, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, there's no lighting shown on that plan.
Is this, but I mean, I'm assuming there was more plans than just this, right?
Well, let me take a look, because on the binder, because I have the street inspection report and the road cost estimate.
And what about the adjacent roads? Were those installed, built with light posts or not?
I have them showing as installed.
Oh.
And that would have been a carryover from the previous inspector.
There are no street lights when you use Google Earth.
Yeah.
Down Serenade. Oh, no, I take that back. There is one on Serenade.
Yeah, it's usually one of the, on Serenade.
Yeah,
there is a light on the at lot 25 in front. There is one
on Lullaby.
Yeah, a street light, you mean?
Yeah, on Concerto. So there are lanterns.
Yes, I think, right.
So I think we'd have to go back and find the plans for the details.
Right, that shows.
So we can.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna make, someone mentioned it and we want to make sure that the project is complete, right?
Good question.
Yeah, good point, good comment.
So to Roa, we will we will investigate that. Find out the answer.
So
There's one more hand raised.
Roa,
Oh, I thought that's what you just did.
if you have a question, if you can unmute yourself. The person identified as ROA.
Oh, no, I think it looks like actually Brant has his, has a hand raised.
I think that's from before.
Oh, okay, just still right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm showing Roa has a hand.
But I did promote Roa, who has a picture here. I just don't see, here we go. The Roa family would echo the sentiment of expediting the road paving and ideally light posts to increase safety, as well as the island.
Okay, that was the comment I think that I had seen, so.
Yeah. And it looks like Brant has lowered his hand.
Okay.
So,
well, a hand just went up. Who's hand went up?
this part's easier on a real meeting, I think.
Oh, hands down. Okay. All right. Anyway, so we're going to skip hands. We're moving along. So
Roa said they're unable to unmute.
I'll bring this in the other.
We are got it. Okay. Well, Roa, we are going to investigate. The director of planning will have her staff go back and look at the approved documents, which are 20 years ago, so it may take a bit to find them. But and we'll see what is required, what was approved regarding streetlights.
And now, the streetlights aside, is this plan that as part of the application, is this what we would be expected to approve if we were to go the path of a minor modification?
Yeah, the plan that we submitted, not the original, but the plan that we submitted is what we'd ask you to approve if you were to choose to approve this as a minor modification.
Stephanie, can you put that plan up? Can you share the screen?
Yes.
And the
Yeah, hold on.
the plan? Because so now let's go around the horn with the board members. So I've stated my concern. So looking at this, I'm assuming the dark poche, the dark shaded area is proposed where that little hand is right now. That's proposed sidewalk. I would look for the sidewalk to continue to be consistent with what we've done in our in every other project we've approved in town of this type and in the rest of this subdivision. I would at least want to see it. I think it should go to across the small numbers. I'm assuming a lot numbers or addresses. Yes. This is 25, 24, 20, maybe those are addresses. Up to the edge of the driveway on 23. That would give sidewalk access to every house, either in the front yard or across the street. That would eliminate the sidewalk shown on the plans in the vast majority of 23, and then all of 22, 21, 20, and 19. So that would be my, and then the island, I'm fine with the island as long as the fire department's okay with it. So I throw that out there. What do you fellow members, what do you think of that?
I will agree with all the homeowners that having an island would be beneficial. But what I haven't heard from any of the homeowners is why they don't want the island on the other side. All of them support it, but I haven't heard any reasoning why to eliminate it.
You mean the sidewalk?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Not to put words in their mouth, but I heard one person, I mean, it's, it hasn't been there, so they've gone along with landscaping,
Right.
I get it, but that's not, I didn't want to, but that's not how we can really think of it as a board.
So all the immediate neighborhood is only one side. If you look at Google Map, this neighborhood, not the old estate, the two faces, but this face is only one side.
Yeah, well, that's what I was proposing, one side.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Responding to Chris, in order to keep it consistent with the rest of this immediate neighborhood, if you put two sides will not be consistent. Look at Google Maps, it's very clear. All around that.
So I can understand why they only did it on one side on Concerto Lane, as it's a loop, so you can go around the whole block. This would be one area where you can't return on the other side of the street. Everywhere else, it looks like, even Serenade Park looks like it has sidewalks on both sides. So this would be the only road in the whole development that you can't turn back on itself, which if all the neighbors are in favor of it, I support, as long as the sidewalk goes down. I just haven't heard any reasoning of why to eliminate it.
Chairman, this is Jeff Comrera at 19 Lullaby. I had my hand up. I was just,
Okay, go ahead.
I could kind of address that.
Sure.
I am at number 19, which is right at the start of the cul-de-sac. And I was just curious.
Other 19, it's, sorry about that. Never
lot
mind.
25.
Lot 25, this is the other end, close to the cul-de-sac.
Correct. I'm the next house after the end of the sidewalk, as it turns out.
Thank you, Amos.
So I was just curious to ask the board, I know it was 20 years ago, but what is the rationale of having a sidewalk going around a cul-de-sac that virtually has zero traffic?
I can tell you the answer because I was around when that happened.
Okay.
And I'll just be completely honest with you because I remember this discussion taking place. If you run it all the way down Lullaby Lane, all the way around the cul-de-sac and all the way back, then you provide sidewalk that permits pedestrians to essentially traverse the entire outside of the subdivision and still be able to walk on a sidewalk. You can just about see that section of roadway that represents the intersection of Lullaby Lane. And you can see that from the east side, there's a sidewalk. And if that sidewalk were to continue along the east side of Lullaby Lane, around the cul-de-sac, and then along the west side of Lullaby Lane, it reconnects with the sidewalk that then kind of travels west off the page. And that permits someone to really walk around the outside of this entire subdivision and still be on a sidewalk. And that's what the planning board back then, that's what they wanted. So that's why it goes up and down both sides of Lullaby Lane.
And I want to point out, I was not on the board at the time, but reading the applicant's narrative, they expressly mentioned the sidewalks and the amount of sidewalks, and it was an important part of the neighborhood feel, the walkability they were going for. I know these streets, this isn't a major feeder road, but it allows, mothers with carriages, kids on bikes, especially if we put an island in this cul-de-sac, now that does close it down. You are extending, people can't really cheat on the radius. They're going to be closer to the outside circumference of that road now. It's human nature. You're going to want to find the equilibrium between the island and the edge of the road. So that's why you would see, even if, we don't always have sidewalks on both sides, but typically, and if you look at our rules and regs, the cul-de-sac, the sidewalk goes all the way around virtually the entire cul-de-sac, and then stops where it would start to double up on the straight sections of the road.
Right, and if I could add to that, Greg, I mean, that's part of what makes this, and again, the applicant included this in their narrative. That's what makes it feel like a neighborhood. It's what invites people out to walk around. And I witnessed that the day that I went out last week to do a site inspection, that people were out and walking around the neighborhood.
Right.
And it really does make a nice walking path for people.
And vertical curb, now people can't park on lawns. If you're having a house party or something, people are, not that they would park on lawns anyways, but sometimes they will. But your car is going to be the full width of the, into the street now, plus clearance off of a curb. So again, those areas that don't have a sidewalk, the aforementioned people enjoying the pedestrian aspect of the road are now forced into the middle of the road. So it's not a condition that's there all the time, but it's, again, it's for keeping Easton's rural character, enjoying the neighborhood walkability. Those are sort of some of the main charges of this board. As
I mean, other times, a similar type development, we might have, if required, we might have waived the sidewalk on both sides, maybe to, increase the, reduce the impervious area, or just because people have the similar arguments that you don't need a sidewalk on both sides. So we like sidewalks, but we haven't, enforced sidewalks on both sides of the road, or even one side in certain cases for similar projects. So
the question is, we stand for a complete circuit all around without stepping on the road, if that is important or not for us to extend that as a condition. And I am hearing that it's not. For my part, I don't think we need to go there.
Okay, so just I wanted to read, just to speed this up a little bit. We see from Roa, we support the sidewalk on one side, the paving of the road, the island. We might get more information on the lighting regulations. The road is very dark. How far apart will the roads, the lights be? That is why we need to find the plan. We don't, that will answer that question. And a bunch of answers just disappeared. I don't know how. Oh, they're back. I believe the neighborhood will be pleased with maintaining sidewalks on both sides and this addition of the island. As other neighbors mentioned, we're more interested in completing the roadwork as soon as possible. Okay. Anyways, so where are we at, board members? I think we've given.
I like the Route 106 sidewalk comment there, but yeah, I like your idea, Greg. That's good. We just have to wait to find out about the light posts.
Yeah, this is Stetson. I agree. I think that if we provide access on one side to the end of the cul-de-sac, which I think is the references that you were talking about, Greg, and the rules and regs, which I'm looking at right now, I think it's fine. I think that it's a minor modification, and it seems like the neighborhood supports it. So I'm in favor of it if they extend it out a little bit further as you proposed.
Okay.
Fine with the island. That's fine.
Yeah. And Amas, I think you said the same, right?
Yeah, same here, Greg.
Okay. And Chris, I think you said so. So I think we're all in agreement with keeping the sidewalks, up on one side and going up to the cul-de-sac as discussed. I guess we just needed to, Stephanie and her team have to dig into the archive so we can find out what's going on with the lights.
Yeah.
Just so and then you had your discussion with Mohammed about that. So I guess from here we should continue to the next meeting so that they could revise a plan, and I'm fine with it as a minor modification. I agree with what Bob said. Everybody else okay with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. Chair, part of the decision is to make DPW or whoever to approve the way in which the paving will be executed.
Well, that definitely takes care of that. That's not really. That's just operations. She'll handle that. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make Mohammed aware that I think there was some concerns with the existing pavement, and they shouldn't just do what they, just pull up what they think they should. I'm sure Stephanie wants a member of the town out there, but we don't need to discuss that here. I'm just kind of alerting the folks that would be talking on that. So Mohammed, and you're good with the direction we're going on this? You understand?
I mean, again, it's I mean, the decision today, whether it's a substantial or insubstantial, does it require opening of a public meeting or not?
Right,
So
right, exactly. No, we can do it without a public meeting. So.
Yeah, and again, I'm happy to run it up to lot 23, to the driveway of lot 23, what you suggested, Greg. So I'm happy with that, and then we will install the island.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so why don't we continue this? Anybody have anything else? We're good? I can't tell. Hands keep going up and coming down. So, but I think
I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but this is Brant McGettrick again. When you talk about continuing and things like that, just getting back to my original question, what's a realistic time that the road actually gets paved? Just estimate, ballpark.
Mohammed, I'll throw that to you.
I mean, it's probably 2 to 3 weeks. It shouldn't take any longer, really. I mean, again, when we installed the granite curbing, the paving crew was actually going to start the week after. Yeah, so that's why we installed the granite curbing.
Our next meeting, I'll just jump in. So our next meeting is 2 weeks on the 12th. Assuming we wrap this up that night, then yeah, I mean, there's not an appeal period. I think this is just a minor modification. So.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not even all held up by that, because I mean, they have to start working on the cracks. I mean, it sounds like there was
right, but we don't want to answer that. That's a question. That's an answer for Mohammed, not for us.
No, right. I know. Yeah, just the point is though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but Peter, the board has to agree to the change, and then we will be happy to do it. But we can start mobilizing, assuming that the board is going to make the decision in favor of what the plans that we're going to be submitting next. So we can start at least scheduling things. And I'll meet with DPW to make sure which way do they want me to handle the binder.
Okay, I thought there were two separate things. Like you were going to handle finishing the road, and then you're asking for a minor modification. There's two separate things that happen to be related that we talked about.
The minor modification is adding the island and the sidewalk and eliminating some of the sidewalks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we just need clarity on the streetlights, just since it came up. So we need the plan for that. So I guess why don't we make a motion to continue this out to the July 12th? Seems like everybody knows what needs to be done.
Motion to continue the Lullaby Lane minor modification to July 12th.
That's Stetson second.
All those in favor? Oh, any further discussion? First of all,
that's fine.
No, I think we're good. Right. Okay. All those in favor? Strange eye.
DeShane aye.
Stetson aye.
Anderson aye.
All right. It's unanimous. Thank you all, and we appreciate the public input. It's what keeps our town special. So, and Mohammed, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Good night.
All right. Next up, comprehensive permit, Black Ledge LLC, 8791 Union Street. This is the 40B for 108 residential apartments up on the old Benson concrete plant.
So the board will remember at this was put on the agenda for comments, and the applicant had not submitted engineered plans. They submitted some plans today for the board meeting tomorrow night, but we have not had a chance to look at them or get them out to you folks. So again, they are expecting to do a presentation to the Zoning Board of Appeals tomorrow night. They know that they still have work to do, and of course, it will be many meetings before that hearing continues. So my suggestion is.
So I was diligent and reviewed, but I didn't know they were just there today. I must have just lucked out. So that's fine. So we'll push this to the next meeting. I reviewed that. All right, so that's fine.
Yeah, and Stephanie, those materials aren't on permitized, at least weren't as of like about 5 o'clock. So
they must have been. I got them. They are there. So, yeah. Okay. Which is probably 5:30.
Right, they came sometime today, I think.
Okay.
The traffic report. Oh, sorry. The 186-page traffic report.
Okay.
Page 23 has line of sight. That's what I was looking for. So anyways, meeting minutes. Peter, did you review them?
I did look through them on my phone. That's all right.
Yeah. Anybody else? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes. Stetson.
Second, Shane.
Strange. All those in favor? Strange eye. I've got to go first.
Shane, aye.
That's an aye.
That's an aye.
You can tell I'm done with Zoom meetings. So I was so excited. I thought we were going to be meeting in person, but no. All right. Well, good. Thanks, everybody. Stay cool out there. And we will we'll see you on the 12th. Who wants to bring us home?
Motion to adjourn. To Shane.
That's in second.
All those in favor, Strange eye.
Anderson, aye.
That's an aye. Happy 4th, all.
Bye-bye.